call?
Understall. Totebush. Stuckenschneider.
Here.
Woolley. Steffens.
Here.
Cassette. Waymeyer.
Here.
Werner.
Here.
Kleppel.
Here.
Pledge allegiance.
Yep.
I pledge allegiance.
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from our July 12th meeting.
Make the motion, we approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
A second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Communications, anything there?
No one from the public here.
Nobody here? Your parks report?
In your packet, you have July's monthly report. Just want to give you a few updates on what we're doing with the pool. As you know, we had to shut the pool down early, at least the main pool down, because of the pump and the motor. We have pulled the pump and the motor. They can't be rebuilt due to the damage and their age, so we're going to be buying new ones, and it's going to be in this upcoming year, October budget. So right now, we're getting pricing and doing all that work, and then once the budget has been approved for next year, we will make those purchases.
Okay.
Other than that, we've been doing, keeping up on our general maintenance with mowing and whatnot. We've been working on the disc golf course a little more. If you've been up to Burger Park, you'll notice that we've removed, all the fencing and everything up there. We've been doing some grading work, and as time allows, we'll continue to do more work up there and work with the volunteers and placing the baskets hopefully within the next month.
Very good.
On that project. We're continuing to work on some of our other projects with like the Miller Post, doing some trail work there as time allows. Been doing some work down at the riverfront as well. Other than that, we've just been trying to keep up. We're changing basically our operating seasons right now, getting out of baseball and stuff. We're getting into the football and soccer, so we've been spending a lot of time laying out, striping and lining all those fields, getting them ready for their season. And if anybody has any questions on anything,
I was wondering on the Riverfront Trail, the western portion of it, what's our schedule as far as with the autumn coming, leaves down there? How often we get down and clean the trail?
we don't have a set schedule that we do it every day, but we look at it, and probably a couple times a week we go through there and blow the trail off.
Blow it off.
That's
Okay.
what we did on the eastern end of the trail, and we'll continue to do the same on the western portion as well.
Okay. Yeah. A lot of good comments about that trail.
Good.
I hear it all the time. Okay. Old business. We have the half-cent sales tax.
Basically, I just want to give an update on the half-cent sales tax, and as we're moving forward, we are working on our budget for our next fiscal year, and as part of that, we have put in for the half-cent sales tax, trying to schedule out all the projects in that and try to look at the year, because we're doing a kind of a pay-as-you-go instead of bonding out. So right now, we have looked at that and looked at a number of years and try to look at the projects. The first project that we've all talked about is the aquatics facility. And we are moving forward with that. Some of you serve on the aquatics subcommittee. We have been meeting with that subcommittee. Within the past 2 weeks, we interviewed 2 consulting groups. We've looked at that, and we're narrowing that down, and we're working on bringing a consultant on board to do the public engagement process, which will try to get the public input on what people would like to see. Once we get a consultant on board and do that, that's about a 6-month project doing that, and then we will roll that in to do a request for qualifications from engineering design firms to start the process of the design of the pool. So that's really all I really had on that. Once they adopt a budget at the end of this month, that way I'll be able to bring the full schedule of the half-cent sales tax with all of our park projects once that's finalized. And you can see the schedule of years and what projects are in there and which year.
Fees and charges.
As you may be aware, we have had a subcommittee on fees and charges. We have been meeting on that as well. What we had decided to do several months ago is to look at each category instead of looking at all the fees and charges at one time like we did a few years ago. We're taking it category by category. Right now, we're working on athletic facilities, which includes, most of our outdoor facilities such as tennis courts, soccer fields, baseball fields, football fields. And we're running through that and looking at different numbers. We're hoping within the next month or so, we will have some numbers that we'll be able to bring back to this committee to review and comment on. And if this committee endorses it, then we'll move on to council. Our goal is to have whatever the numbers may be in place by the end of this year so that they can be in place for the next year. And then once we get done with the athletic facilities, we'll move on to the next category, such as facilities or special events, those sorts of things on those fees.
So you'll move forward with each category to the council rather than wait for the sum total?
Right, because I think if those of you who have served on the committee for a long time, we worked on fees and charges for over 4 years trying to get everything. Then we got them together, then we moved it forward, then it got stuck. And so now we're revisiting that and try to take it category by category. And if we can implement those, we think we can expedite those on a faster.
So, and much readily understandable as well.
Right.
Then bam, here's the whole thing.
Right.
Darren, will you be also on that report, have what the existing costs are and what the new ones will be?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And we're also looking to meet, like on the athletic facilities, look at our primary users and meet with them as well.
Okay.
Before we bring stuff forward to this board and on to council.
Anything else on fees and charges? Roofing bids?
Just give you an update on the roofing bids through the insurance money that we had gone out on several bid packages, as you are aware. We did implement one bid package, and that was for the riverfront, and we got that taken care of, as well as the pavilion at Optimus Park. Since that time, we were looking to implement some of the other bids. We did go out to bid, and we received some numbers back, but they have done a change to the prevailing wage law, which before I'll explain the prevailing wage law if you're not aware of it. Basically, each county sets wage rates, which are pretty much set by union wages, and
It's the crackling of the.
yeah. And basically, any government project that you go out to bid for, you have to pay those prevailing wages, which sometimes those fees could be 30 to 35% higher cost by doing prevailing wage. The Republicans in the state, led by Greitens, wanted to abolish the prevailing wage. The Democrats didn't want to. They've come to a compromise and signed an agreement this past month basically saying any project listed less than $75,000 in cost and less than 1,000 man-hours of work, you do not have to do prevailing wage. As such, we are going to go back out and rebid some of these roof packages because they fall below that, and we think that we can get a better price
Okay,
on those roofs, so I'm doing that right now. And so we're moving forward on those projects.
very good. Anything else under old business?
No, sir.
I don't know where this comes in, Darren, but you had put out an email about that meeting, hosting a workshop on, what was that on?
Sunshine.
Yeah, the Sunshine Law. And
Oh.
you were going to take some notes and. 'cause
Yep.
I
Yeah,
don't know
basically
any-
give you an update on the Sunshine Law. They didn't give us any handouts or anything, but just kind of, there's brief things about the Sunshine Law, and basically most of it falls on me on setting up the meeting agendas and notices, those sort of things. But it also went into things such as executive session and what you can go into executive session for and what you can't. This was just, we don't do this on an annual basis, but every 2 to 3 years, they give an update on the Sunshine Law and any changes in that. And we have had in the past some committees, not necessarily this committee, but some people say, well, we don't want to talk about this in open public, let's go into executive session. Well, by law, there's only certain things you can go into there, if personnel matters, real estate matters, those sort of things. So it's just giving us an update on that and the procedures in doing that, as well as what we have to do to post our agendas. We have to post them at least 24 hours ahead of time for our meetings. The meetings have to be open. All of our minutes, all that kind of stuff have to be open to the general public. So it's basically a brief rundown on all that.
What about email conversations or,
All email conversations that come from the city are public documents.
okay. That
So
would include us?
that would include you. Any conversations back and forth become public documents if someone wanted to request those.
Okay.
So they know we're at the meeting.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Darren. Appreciate that. New business?
I do not have any other.
I just, one question for sure. When do you guys move?
Oh, I'm sorry, I do. For those of you who maybe not be aware, I apologize.
I'm
It's in
sorry,
the paper,
I missed
isn't
it.
Didn't it say October?
Our administrative offices will be moving to the lower level of City Hall here on October 1st.
Okay.
We are working towards that end right now. We may not be fully moved in by October 1st, but we will be operational by October 1st. And the main reason that we are moving is for the fact is those of you who have been around and went through the half-cent sales tax, we originally asked for a new maintenance facility in the parks. That didn't make it through the half-cent sales tax. We have ran out of space at our current maintenance facility. We don't have enough space to store all of our equipment, as well as our dry storage, those sort of things. So by moving the administrative staff out, that opens up our office areas to be renovated for more maintenance space. And we were contemplating different locations. We talked about the old bathhouse, well, the current bathhouse, that if we were to build a new pool and do something else, we could remodel that. We looked at that and we started looking at costs. And since the Driver's License Bureau has moved out here, that opened up a space and the cost was far lower to remodel the lower level than to remodel the old bathhouse.
So are they going to demolish the inside of the current parks?
I won't say totally demolished, but they will be doing some heavy renovating of it over the next few years, depending on how the sales tax dollars, some stuff that we can just do ourselves, but then there's others that some of the half-cent sales tax dollars will have to take care of.
Okay.
So it'll be an ongoing.
Will there be a
Remodel.
meeting room downstairs
There will not be a meeting room.
in there? No?
We have the 2 meeting rooms upstairs, and this room here can be divided off into a meeting room if we need to use that.
Okay.
And you feel that you being down here and the workers out there, that you'll have control, pretty much control over them?
Yeah, we have a really good staff out there, and Chad, our maintenance foreman, does a great job, but it is going to be requiring me to, it's easy right now all in the same building, but I will have to split my time, no doubt about it.
But you're doing it right now.
Yeah, I'm
Just the opposite. You're
just doing the opposite. I'm
standalone.
here part of the day with meetings and stuff and going there, so it's 6 of one, half dozen the other with me. The biggest thing is, you know, people have been used to coming to that building since like 1973, and so it's going to take time for them to adjust that we're in a new location.
Sorry, I don't know how to turn it off. Okay,
Good.
it's okay. Sorry.
Okay. Any other questions? Anything else under new business? You said you had a couple things?
My only other question was for the, and I know the bridge looks like everything is going on time, but I've had a couple people ask me about the east side of the trail and when, you know, any projections on that opening back up, and I said I would ask.
I can give you my best estimate. Right now, the bridge is scheduled to have a grand opening ceremony on December 1st is kind of what we're looking at, as long as weather stays good between now and that time. They're looking to open the bridge to the public on December 3rd. Now, the old bridge has to come down, and after that comes down, they'll start the restoration work on the trail. So we're looking at probably sometime in 2019 before that trail is restored.
Okay, I mean.
And it might even
You
be,
saying the fall, the summer? Do you
Yeah,
have-
I don't know.
Yeah, that was,
And there's some different things that we have to look at, and there might be some opportunities and some options there. As the way the contractor's written, anything that they had torn up, they have to replace. It doesn't mean that they have to replace the whole trail, only what they tore up. And they have brought in some rock in to try to minimize that, but we might be able to utilize some of that rock and do a new trail on top of that. So there's different options that we can look at and some cost savings in doing that. But asking for a timeline,
yeah, well,
it's-
they were just thinking like, would it be spring, summer, fall, not like specific months, but, you know, because they were just,
the best I can tell you is by the end of, right now, it looks like by the end of 2019. And I know that's a wide gap, but
that's a lot of work.
But by the contract, I believe that had given them basically a year of restoration time to
Okay.
do that.
Well, that's good, that's
Well,
good
I-
information.
I understand it, the Alberici, they take ownership of the old bridge, is that correct?
Yes.
And then, do they have a specific timeline to take what they want off of that before they implode it? And,
My understanding is that they are looking, and it all depends if all the stars align and everything else, that they were looking at March, sometime around March to April to implode it. And
okay.
then I don't know how much time that, once they implode it, how much time it's going to take to
So they're
remove
gonna be
it.
taking stuff off of that and still using the trail for some of that, I guess, or?
And when the new bridge, I'll back up a little bit, once the new bridge opens December 3rd, the driving bridge will be open, but the pedestrian part will not be open on December 3rd. It might come a few months later.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, that's my latest update on it. We have another meeting, I think, in the next week or so, and I might have a better update, but that's what it was last time I heard.
Any idea, Darren, the scope of the damage to the trail?
It's hard to tell right now because they have about a foot of rock on top of it, and they tried to protect it as best as possible by doing that, but they've had several large trucks and everything like that. So until you get in there and remove that rock to see what was really damaged underneath it, it's going to be tough to tell.
Trees?
A lot of the trees were removed prior to them, so there shouldn't be any other damage to any of the trees that are down there.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Do you want to talk about the
Future meetings?
permanent time for meetings or
Yeah.
meetings, moving it?
It seems that there's a lot of activities in the city as well as with individual on Thursday nights, and we've had some tough times of trying to set meetings on Thursdays. It's been brought up that possibly move our meetings to the first Wednesday of each month opposed to the first Thursday. And we wanted to throw it out to you guys to see what you guys thought about that, if there's a better time with that'd work for you.
I don't think I'd have a problem with it.
Fine by me.
I won't have, yeah, it's good for me.
Do we need a motion to
But
do
the
this?
people we need to hear from are the people that aren't here.
Yeah,
Well,
Wait a minute, I still work.
yeah.
Wait a minute.
yeah,
I can make Wednesday work.
Yeah, do you need a
Well,
motion, or do
he
you?
said I do need a motion, so,
Are you starting in October then? Are you going to talk about? would
Now,
you-
starting October,
start in October, yeah. Starting immediately.
Have we a quorum?
I think we do.
We have a quorum here,
yeah.
yeah. So,
So the
I
next
need,
one-
could I have a motion to change our regularly scheduled meetings from Thursdays to Wednesdays at 6 o'clock?
I will,
Go ahead, Gavin.
I will make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? So be it. I think it's a good move. When you look at downtown Washington's schedule and you look at the city schedule, Thursdays, everything's Thursday, so. Okay. Next thing would be adjournment. I need a motion for that.
I'll make a motion for that.
I'll
Okay.
second it.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 That's it. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Sorry I was late, but I thought I saw somewhere that this was to be at the park.
It was.
Was that on,
That was a typo when I sent out an email to everyone today telling them.
are you
that
supposed
it
to
was-
read emails all the time?